Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I'm here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
Another day, another daily dose of dismal Disney.
Yeah, I don't know. Is it always dismal? I don't know.
It's not.
It is kinda today.
Kinda, sorta. It's kind of a mixed bag today. So Disney's credit has been downgraded again. It's been downgraded over the uncertainty about that thing we can talk about now.
Yeah. No, I saw this earlier. I have not had a chance to put this up though.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about how their stocks are actually going up because I think a lot of people are buying their stock now because they're like, oh, Disney's cheap. I'm like, it was cheaper. You guys
I'd wait until after the investor meeting.
I would wait until after the investor. Yeah, I think it's going to drop.
Which the investor meeting is on May 5th, not the 12th.
It is on the 5th. I actually got the 12th from another news site, but it is on May 5th. I thought that was weird because the last meeting was the beginning of February.
It usually is like the first few days of the first week. Yeah.
So we're going to talk about that, how their credit has dropped. We're going to talk about how much money they're losing daily. We're going to talk about how more people are jumping on the 2021 opening bandwagon.
Right.
After a bunch of people, called us names, basically, for saying that.
And we're going to talk about the fact that there's a task force set up and that a bunch of Disney people are on a task force. But when they had the meeting for the task force, the Disney people didn't show up.
Yeah, that was kind of weird. Now, I don't know if that was planned or what. Disney has been very quiet about their reopening plans.
But the day before, DeSantis was on Fox and Friends, talking about Disney and how they're so far ahead of the curve. But then Disney didn't show up for the meeting. Just him mentioning it the day before. And then everybody flipped out. They're like, oh my God, that means they're going to open soon. And here's the thing, that does not mean they're going to open soon. What he said was, they're so far ahead of the curve for reopening plans. Meaning they're ahead of the curve on what their plans are for reopening, not for reopening. But of course, people can't read.
Then we're going to talk about Abigail Disney taking Disney to task for furloughing 100,000 employees, but giving stock bonuses to the executives. There's been a lot of controversy about that. We're going to talk about how reopening the theme parks is not as easy as people think.
I wonder who's been saying that. Oh, that's right, us.
Yeah, it's not as easy as people think. There's a lot of things to consider. So before we get into it, please subscribe for more pop culture, news, views, and rants. We're over 100,000 subs. We have a play button unboxing coming.
Yeah, we're working on a special video for that. That's why it's taking a little bit longer.
Special video.
Squid King has taken the lead on this one.
Yeah, he has. He's gonna inherit the channel someday. We'll let the kids run the channel.
He can write. I know that. So anyway.
This is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. Earlier today, Disney credit rating downgraded over theme park uncertainty. Now, this is affecting other parts of the company. People are like, well, it's just the theme parks. It doesn't matter. No. Look what's happening with Marvel Comics. Marvel, it wasn't just the freelancers that were told pencils down. They actually laid off half their editorial staff too. And over on the studio side, there were a bunch of layoffs last week. We're hearing that Disney PR has been laying off. And there were some shows that were in development that they pulled the plug on, citing force majeure.
But they turn around and announce the female-led Star Wars show for Disney Plus. Which is not a problem. The problem is alternate timeline, alternate whatever, the different timeline, and the person behind it's kind of like...
What 2015? She's lived in 2015. We'll talk about that in another video. It's interesting. I don't think that was Disney. I think that was her PR people.
Because they got it everywhere.
Yeah, they did. So anyway, we believe that Disney's theme parks could recover more slowly than the overall global economy, S&P Global Ratings said. S&P Global Ratings on Thursday downgraded Walt Disney Company's credit rating over concerns the coronavirus, I can say it now, crisis will slow any reopening of the studio's shuttered theme parks and studios. The theme parks are going to be the hardest thing to open. Yeah,
I agree. But they dropped it down from an A to an A-, which honestly is one of the lighter ones I've seen. I've seen people drop them down to like C's and different things, so...
Yeah, so at least it's not AMC Theaters, which is like, oh my God, they're on fire.
They went up since they can stay, in business for a while.
Like I talked about before in another video, we said that Disney, 35% of their revenue, I think it's actually more than that, comes from the theme parks.
Oh, I think it's more than that.
Whereas I thought it was like 54. I know 54% of their operating revenue comes from the theme parks. Whereas with Universal's theme parks only make up 5% of Comcast's revenue. So for them, it's not that big of a deal.
Which they said. We're going to talk about that in a minute.
Yeah. So here's the problem. The problem is you can't have large groups of people in the theme parks
No.
together. You've got kids running around. Even if you try to practice social distancing, when you got a bunch of kids running around, how are you going to do that?
Yeah, they're licking everything, you know, and they do at Disney. There's pictures. There are literally videos out there on the internet. I'm sure you've seen them with the little girl in front of the window licking it. It happens. I've seen it every trip.
Yep. So they said that their theme parks likely will not return to normal capacity at the same rate as the overall economy, even after stay-at-home
Right.
restrictions are eased. And that's true. And this is why a lot of people are jumping on the bandwagon now about 2021.
The bandwagon that we said, because it wasn't even us. It was WDW Magic Forums said it first, and we thought they were right, and so we reported it and took it out there to the mainstream, and we got so much crap for it. And it's like, you know, do I think that nothing will open before 2021? No, I think they'll start reopening things, but the whole thing is not going to reopen anytime soon.
Yeah, that's the problem. And what we're hearing now, Disney, again, these are the rumored plans for Disney's reopening, which there's more credibility, I think, now. Oh, look, price drop. She's still on sale, holdo. There's more credibility now. We'll talk about Universal's plans. They sound an awful lot like the rumored plans at Disney, where they're going to limit capacity. They're going to keep a lot of stuff closed. They're going to reroute queues so they're not indoors. They're going to have people outside. They're going to have virtual queues. A lot of the things that were discussed that are supposedly being talked about at Disney right now, but the big one was the 2021 opening date.
But we're not hearing anything. I mean, apparently DeSantis knows what they're talking about and went and played them up as being ahead of the curve of everybody else. But when push came to shove and we had actual discussion, you know, a discussion about what was going on, public discussion, Disney was the one who wasn't there.
They were a no-show. Yeah, I actually let's go out here. I actually listened to this entire conference call. They had it. Florida had multiple Florida Task Force conference calls going yesterday morning, and then the findings from those calls, they had a bigger meeting in the afternoon. I listened to and transcribed the entire talk, which was with CEO John Sprouse, and he really took charge. At Universal. He really took charge. He came in, he said, this is what we're planning on doing. A lot of what he was saying gels with what insiders are saying Disney is planning on doing. Disney was a no-show. Now, I don't know if they weren't planned to be there, but again, when they trumpeted it up,
they made a big deal about how Disney's so far ahead of the curve and Disney's so great and Disney's, you know, really taking this on, and they have a meeting and Disney's on this task force. They made sure some people from Disney, I think more than one is on this task force, and then they didn't even show up.
Yeah, it was kind of weird. I thought, okay, so fine, Disney will show up for the afternoon meeting, but the afternoon meeting was just kind of consolidating all the finds. I have to wonder if Disney either isn't going to have their own little press conference because they're Disney, right? Or they're going to wait until the quarterly earnings call.
Know. But it was a lot of the same things we've already mentioned that we've heard that Disney's doing. We can't confirm, though, because Disney didn't bother, you know, putting that out there.
But this is what Universal is planning anyway, and mad props to John Sprouse. I think he's got a good head on his shoulders. He does seem very much like a leader. They said that they're going to probably require team members to wear face masks and have health screenings before every shift. There's going to be more reliance on contact-free experiences, such as mobile ordering for dining, which is how we've been going to McDonald's. You know, we wouldn't go to McDonald's if it wasn't for mobile ordering. Virtual queues. They said they've already had great success at Volcano Bay with it.
Which is true. They have. They've used virtual queuing since they opened Volcano Bay.
Yeah, they're going to use outdoor queues, so they're not going to have people go pack into the show buildings. We wondered about that because, you know, with Haunted Mansion at Disney, you know, do you take the Haunted Mansion down or do you just bypass the stretching room?
You're okay as long, I mean, for most of the queue is outside.
Yeah.
So you're okay through most of that as long as they have like different places for you to stand to make sure you stay far apart from the group in front of you. But the problem arises when you have to wait at the front door where the Madame Leota statue, the tombstone is, and you have to wait and they bring you in and they shove you all into the fireplace room and then shove you all into the stretching room. So what they'll probably do, and we know they can do this, is they'll probably just take you in and bypass and go no pre-show, you go right to the Doom buggies. But you said they were talking at Universal, every other ride vehicle.
Yeah, so this is where it's going to get tricky, and this is why they're downgrading Disney, because if this is the case, if this is what the normal is going to be for the next year or so, at least until, you know, they get a vaccine or whatever, they're going to do an attendance cap, and they're going to run the rides at limited capacity. So they're talking like every other ride vehicle might have people in it. Now, here's where it's going to get tricky because of they have to wipe all stuff down. But like every run through of the ride, they're going to have to wipe down the whole damn
I mean, I don't know how
cart.
long that's going to take.
So you might be waiting 3 hours to get through an attraction, even with fewer people there. 3 hours to get through an attraction because they got to wipe everything down every time. They're talking they're not going to have a lot of their hotels and restaurants open at first. So
everything we were hearing from Disney as well.
Yeah, increased sanitation, slow ramp up. Neither Disney or Universal knows when they're going to open. Everybody keeps saying, "Oh, they're ahead. That means they're going to open." Oh, they're taking
That's not what they said.
Bookings on June 1st. That means they're going to open on June 1st.
I've been hearing that some places have people who already had their trips canceled for June. So I don't know if that's true or not.
Yeah, I don't know. They don't know. Nobody knows. But what everybody seems to agree on, is that it's not as easy as people think it is. Because as they reopen the economy, it's going to come in waves. And we saw Trump's guidelines, the 3-phase opening. Theme parks would be like phase 3 easy. If they had a phase 4, it would be theme parks because there's so many people and so many potential ways to get infected.
Well, it's so nice of you to compile all that information from that call and put all the information together because an ex-site went and took all that information and then compiled it down into bullet points like they actually did something. And then people were like, "Good job, way to go." To that, Kneon says,
"Oh, you're very welcome." Yeah, I had to sit through the whole thing. I transcribed the whole damn section with Universal and the former website. We're still doing work for this website. They literally...
I didn't get paid then, don't get paid now.
Yeah, so how is it different? Yeah, Geeky literally, they'll lift her stories, they'll bypass her article, go to the original source.
But they will never cite me, even though I know for a fact the story they got was from me because of some bit of information I have in it or something that wasn't part of the original source material, what's in their article too, and they never credit me. We're like the only one out there that actually credits our sources.
Yeah, we always tell people where this came from. This actually was run on the Florida channel, which had all of the conference calls, and they don't have them archived, I don't believe, so I had to listen to the whole damn thing and transcribe it.
Right, so if you're getting that information, you had to listen to it. And they didn't put it up till today, and they used information that they didn't have.
You're welcome. Yeah, so Fox 35 Orlando, a lot of people saying this is going to be a very slow process, which is why Disney's credit is being downgraded. Look for this to affect other parts of the company. You're going to start seeing some pain over at Marvel and Lucasfilm.
We already are seeing pain over at Marvel. Lucasfilm needs pain.
Lucasfilm has been painful for years.
Lucasfilm has caused enough pain. It's time for karma.
And we're going to talk about that. We're going to do another video talking about what's going on at Lucasfilm and how I think this is actually Lucasfilm on their own or individual showrunners stirring up press, because as far as I'm aware, most of Disney's PR department has been furloughed. So it's not coming from, I don't believe it's coming from Disney. Because right now, I would say anything related to Disney is completely up in the air until we see how much damage has been done by the parks being shut down.
Probably. Sorry to interrupt you for a minute, but I think we should take a moment to acknowledge this story right here. Texas girl 10 who made hand-sewn coronavirus masks for nurse was killed in an ATV accident.
Oh no!
So I think we need to take a moment. I'm trying not to cry. I can't deal with kids and animal issues. That this little girl who was 10 was making hand-sewn masks, and she was killed in an accident. So I don't know her, but we should take a moment to acknowledge her.
Oh, okay, go. Well, I'm not gonna pull that up because they'll probably get us demonetized.
No, but I'll cry because I'm trying not to cry now. Anyway,
it's horrible. Anyway, now I'm all depressed.
I'm sorry. I just wanted to make sure I saw that, and I thought, you know what, we need to make sure that's acknowledged.
Now I'm all depressed. So anyway, Yahoo Finance, again today, coming from the LA Times, which is not doing well either. They're losing ad revenue. When's Disneyland going to open? I think Disneyland is going to open later than Disney World.
I don't know. People are arguing. Some people say it's the other way around, but I think Disneyland is because their governor seems to be much more strict on reopening. That, at least that's how the state seems to be, or the country seems to be. Yeah. Much more strict because he's working with 2 other states. Like, was it Washington and Oregon and California? I think it's those 3 are working together to try to decide when they're opening things at the same time.
Right.
I think they're more likely to open later, so that probably is the case.
Yeah. So Disney, I mean, they mentioned that the stock is actually going up, even though the credit's been downgraded. Again, wait till after this earnings call. It's gonna be really interesting. Speaking of Disney, Abigail Disney.
Okay, now Abigail Disney. A lot of people don't like Abigail Disney. She's very
outspoken.
Yes, we'll go with that.
We'll go with that.
And she's also an heiress, so she's coming from her own high horse. But she brought up some points that I'm sorry, I think she's not wrong about.
Yeah, I don't disagree with her. And I saw her, I mean, she goes on about income inequality and all of that. In this case, I actually agree with Abigail Disney, because the thing is Disney just laid off, and this is unprecedented. They just laid off 100,000 people. Furloughed. I'm sorry. As far as I'm concerned, it's semantics. You literally are laid off. You're not getting paid. You're eligible for unemployment. They're telling you to go get unemployment, but you get to keep your health insurance. And when and if they decide to call you back, you get first crack at it.
Around here, they call it laying off too, for the exact same thing.
Temporary layoff.
You got the same thing, and you got to come back when you got to be called back first. And so, I mean, if we're not saying it right way, because around here they just call it a layoff. Anyway, yeah. So she's like, they laid off all these people. Because they said they can't afford to, they have to just be able to keep the company moving and everything else. But they had no problems giving the executives the $1.5 billion in stock incentives that they had. So when they were making a big deal about them having their pays cut, which I think we did mention, is the fact that their pays are cut and it's nice, but that the majority of their income doesn't come from that. It comes from these stock options, which they are getting anyway.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, they made it out like it was a big deal. Like, oh, the executives, look at how noble these executives are taking a pay cut, and it's to them it's like a drop in the bucket. And the $1.5 billion.
It's like the dividends and incentive schemes.
But yeah, I mean, she points out what we pointed out, that 1.5 billion, because it's 500 million a month apparently is what Disney is saving on salaries. 1.5 billion would keep everybody on payroll
for three more months.
For 3 more months. So even if, obviously, I don't know if they're even thinking about opening the parks in 3 more months, but at least that's 3 more months that people have some security, and 3 more months that taxpayers don't have to pay for the 100,000 people that Disney cut loose. As Disney themselves holds their hands out for government money.
Yeah, well, when they had like the thing at the White House when this all was going down, the stuff was closing, Disney and people representatives were like right there in the image. They were already in DC trying to get money for Disney, and they were talking about how they might be able to get some money to keep moving on the ride builds. They get it from the government. Yeah, and I'm like, really?
Yeah.
And meanwhile, the people, their cast members, I made the comment this night, and I stick by it. For a company that touts family and uses family as a selling point, and they leverage strongly on that to try to get you in the feels. It's all about family, the Disney family. They had no problem sacrificing the majority of family to make sure they got to keep their bonuses.
Yeah, Disney used to be more family focused. They used to be more family, and there are groups of people within Disney that are family, but I don't think Roy or Walt would have approved of the way that they're doing things now. Walt was kind of against the man. I mean, it's so weird. Disney became synonymous as being the man, but Walt Disney himself operated kind of outside the Hollywood system. He always felt like an outsider, and now they're very much like just kind of the symbol of corporate greed.
Yeah. And the thing is, it's like, there's a lot of times I don't agree with Abigail Disney. I mean, I think she's right about some things. I think she goes too far in others. But I don't think she's wrong on this. And I understand that you can't just keep paying people to not work. I get that. But taxpayers have to pay people to keep not working because this is beyond anybody's choice or control. It's not like, you had some way to control this happening. This is beyond anybody's control. No one could have predicted this.
Well, and the thing I guess that gets me is Disney cut and run very quickly. Again, Comcast is better equipped.
Well, Comcast is still paying their people.
Right.
In the May, I believe it, right, as of now.
It's like 80%.
And it's like 80%. They could have done that too. They could have said, okay, guys, we'll give you half of your salary so we can continue for 6 months or something like that. They could have done that. They could have given a part of it, to keep people there. But then the flip side is, since people are let go, now they're free to go someplace else.
Well, that's just it. So if Disney doesn't open until 2021, and they're already talking when they open, the rumor is that it's going to be a staggered opening. They'll open Magic Kingdom first. The other parks will come later.
With limited capacity. Limited restaurants, attractions, etc.
Which means limited employees. So how many of those people are going to sit around for a year or two until Disney feels like calling them back? is Disney going to be in the financial position to hire all 100,000 people back?
Well, that's true, but I mean, beyond that, I don't think they're all going to be there waiting.
No.
Because they're not going to need them all right at the beginning, for like you said, and a lot of people are going to go someplace else because Disney had no problem with their executives taking 1.5 billion in stock shares, stock dividends. But their people were basically told, go get the $275 cap on unemployment and the $600 a week federal that taxpayers are paying for. Go let the taxpayers take care of you.
They literally were telling, there was a letter they sent out to cast members. They literally were telling them to basically, oh, that's okay, the government's going to take care of you guys.
This reminds me of McDonald's sent out that thing to their people that how you can work 2 jobs and survive by working at McDonald's.
Oh my God, yeah, I remember that. I don't know if you guys go Google at McDonald's, because people are calling out McDonald's and being like, you don't pay people enough to live on, and people are basically like, oh no, you can make a career at McDonald's as long as you have a second job and you don't have any bills.
Yeah, like if you don't have heat, you don't have like car insurance. They had several major bills weren't even on the list.
Yeah.
And they're like, here's how you can have 2 jobs while working at McDonald's and be fine.
And
so that's what this reminds me of.
The irony in all of this, and the tragedy in all of this, is that workers on both coasts in Florida and Disneyland had to fight so hard to get a pay raise, and now they're just completely gone. And I don't know, again, how all of this works exactly, if because of this situation, if Disney can back out of promises made to the union or what. I don't know.
If any of you work there and want to drop us a line and tell us what's going on, please do so.
Yeah, I've never been in a union, so I have no idea.
Or if you have things you want to tell us about what's going on, feel free to write us.
Yeah, we get bombarded with emails and messages and DMs and all kinds of stuff. I try to keep up with it, guys. I literally cannot these days. It's insane. We need to hire somebody just to be like,
yeah, but please write us if you have some information. We'll take a look at it. But so she was mad because, well, I mean, her name is Disney, so she doesn't want her name synonymous with that either, which I can understand.
Well, that's it. Disney used to be synonymous with family-friendly entertainment and animation innovation, theme parks, and now Disney is synonymous with corporate greed.
And ruining Star Wars.
That's what people know Disney for now. Disney has become a derogatory term.
For some people. For other people, for certain people, it's still, oh my God, it's some magic. I'm going to have an orgasm just thinking about it. Oh my God, Disney. Pixie dust.
Still going?
Yeah, okay.
Okay. All right. There's not enough pixie dust to fix this overnight. And people are still trying to, I love it. Like every time somebody drops a truth bomb, you've got like analysts and you've got people, like you can tell some of these Disney fans, oh, hey, I'm sorry, the Walt Disney Company went bankrupt and there is no more Disneyland.
We're not saying that's what happened.
No.
Theoretically,
you can tell people this and they would argue with you. You could take them to Disneyland. Disneyland could burn down and they could be like, yeah, we're not rebuilding it. It's never coming back. You could literally take them there, park them outside the gate, and they would not believe you.
They're like, it's coming back. I was thinking that they were talking about analysts on a board and message board, and they're like, well, they don't cite sources, and they're not from Disney. And Squid Key's comment was, well, you're probably going to be more they're probably more relatable and believable because they aren't from Disney. That's our son, okay? He even knows.
So USA Today, New York Post, we got Fox, we got LA Times and Yahoo.
And before all of that, we had piratesandprincesses.net.
Yeah, right. So I think we're gonna wrap this one up.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so guys, just keep an eye on this. The fireworks are gonna begin after this next quarterly earnings report. That's when the shit's gonna get real. It's gonna get real because right now they're trying to keep the ball in the air, but they're running out of players.
I think we're gonna find out some stuff tomorrow because isn't the governor of Florida supposed to be doing some, a briefing about a timetable? This is for Florida only, of course.
Yeah, that's my understanding. So I think that's gonna affect the stock too. But the longer this goes on, the more it's starting to sink in with people that even if the economy opens back up, opening a theme park current year with all the considerations because of coronavirus is going to be much, much harder than they think. You cannot, it's not like even Walmart, you can limit the number of people that going in and out of Walmart. Movie theaters, you can stagger the number of people. Restaurants, you can stagger, but here you're talking like the perfect storm of social
no one could have
clusters.
seen this coming. There's no way anybody could have predicted this. However, companies should have been saving money instead of doing stock buybacks, so they wouldn't be in such a position now where they are so strapped that they're out there with their hands out over people who need it. and then they're laying off people, but they're being so tone deaf as to continue to take their stock dividends, while they're citing that they have to lay all these people off because they don't have any money. See, that's the kicker. I understand things happen. There's no way they could have predicted this, and it's understandable that they had to lay people off. Everybody has to do that. No one saw this coming, and you really can't blame any company for this because it just was an act of God type thing. But you can't say we're out of money on one breath, please help us, and then the next breath be like, where's our $1.5 billion in stocks?
Yeah, and here's what's, just shocking about this. For years, Disney gloated. The hubris, they gloated about how much money they were making. I mean, short of them, Bob Iger rolling around in piles of, $1 million bills. Do they have $1 million bill? I don't know.
I'll never know.
I'll never know either. But, rolling around in the money, and they flaunted their wealth. They flaunted the money they were making. They constantly bragged about how much money they had. They showed it off by making flashy acquisitions that sometimes did not make sense.
And they turned around and kept price gouging the guests because they want more and more. It's an endless supply of more. We're sitting on a gold mine. More and more and more. And then the gold mine just turned into fool's gold, and then they had nothing.
And that's the thing. Disney, a smart company. This is why I'm like, the whole thing, like...
It used to be smart.
They used to be smart. A smart company would have been like, wow, okay, we got like $30 billion in the bank. Let's save it for a rainy day because but it never rains. It never rains in Florida.
Yeah, apparently. Well, buckle up because here comes the hurricane.
That's exactly it. They should have had cash reserves. A company the size of Disney making that kinds of money, it's inexcusable that they don't have enough money to get by for more than a month or two.
I understand that no one's got the money to get by for like as long as they might be closed, but they should have had more. They should have been able to withstand more than they did. Yeah,
they built their castle out of straw. Everybody thought it was made out of bricks. Everybody thought it was made out of concrete, magic and pixie dust, and it was made out of straw.
It's actually made out of, concrete and forced perspective.
Yeah, there you go. So it's an illusion. There we go. That's the thing with Disney's success. A lot of it is smoke
and mirrors.
Smoke and mirrors, optical illusions. Because now when the chips are down, you're seeing that they have to immediately scramble to borrow money. They have to cut their people loose. They have to cancel projects. So here we are, and now the credit's gonna slip, and just wait for this earnings call. I think it's gonna be one of the most somber things Disney has ever done.
Yeah, it's gonna be something.
All right, so we're gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Okay, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, and we'll talk later.
Bye.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Clownfish TV. Please consider supporting the channel. Go to clownfishsupport.com. That's clownfishsupport.com. And if you want to join our community, go to clownfishtalk.com. That's clownfishtalk.com. Please subscribe, ring the bell for notifications. We will talk to you next time.